record this. Hello, it's Kristen here, and I am coming at you with a Happy Habits Challenge. Woo! So, what does that mean? Good question. Let's dive in. So this challenge runs for 4 weeks. And the reason it runs for 4 weeks is because I want you to stick through 4 weeks of active reflection, ongoing reflection, to see what it looks like when things are working and what it looks like when you need to pivot. Yeah, okay, cool. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you the habits tracker, which you can find in the group here. And in the habits tracker, so I'll just bring it up now so I can kind of talk about it as I am talking. You can see what I'm talking about. All right, so in the habits tracker, we have 4 categories. The first one is sleep. The next one is eating. After that is exercise. And after that is connection. And those 4 categories are the main categories in which our subconscious actions rule our lives. So if you have habits inside of those categories that are not serving you, it is your job to change it. Because if you're not choosing it, if you're not changing it, you are choosing it. And you have the power, and only you have the power to change it. So at the bottom of the habits tracker, it says choose one habit for each category. Fill in the bubble. Each day you complete your habit for 4 weeks. At the end of each week, reflect on your progress. Make it simple and fun. So that is essentially the challenge. I want you to choose one small, very, very small, specific and stacked habit that you can track for 1 week. Reflect on that. See if you need to leave it the same or if you need to elevate it. Do that. Track it for another week and repeat for 4 weeks total. And at the end of the 4 weeks, maybe before, maybe after, ideally, the habit becomes more permanent. Obviously, things can happen and sometimes things slip and it becomes, hi mom. You know, like when people are on live TV and they're like, hi mom. My mom's in the background.
Do you want bologna?
Would you like some bologna from mom? All right, so I have some files in the file category or the file tab in the Facebook group, and inside of those files you can find the preliminary HIP resource. There's the what is happening questionnaire, which those are different things that you can use to identify what your habit would most benefit to be. Obviously, you don't have to choose it just because it says, hey, this is what would be the best for you to do to get the most bang for your buck. If you don't want to do it, don't choose that. Because if you don't want to do it, then that is wasting your own time and your own effort. You have to choose something that you want to do. Like, you have to have the willpower to do it, and you have to have the skill power to also do it. So if you do not care for that action, don't choose that one. Choose one that will make you happy to do. So when we look at the sleep category, we want to boost your odds for a good quality sleep. So what that looks like is your bedtime routine. It's very simple. Your bedtime routine. You know, as a parent, we are constantly trying to get our kids to go to sleep and have a good bedtime routine. Our inner child still needs this for us to function. So what the sleep category gives you the opportunity to take a look at your bedtime routine and see, is this serving me? Can I pivot in a way that is simple enough for me to continue doing? Welcome to the sticks. So, choosing something in your bedtime routine, just one thing, that will boost your odds for a good quality sleep. If you would like some ideas for what to do there, Sharing is caring. In the preliminary HIP resource worksheet in the files tab, you can find some ideas for what is small and specific, and you can just stack it onto an existing habit you have. Like, hopefully everybody brushes their teeth in the evening. Just stack something with that. That's something that would be easy to do. So then we can look at eating, and in eating, really what we're looking at is actions that reflect your relationship with food. So what does that mean? That means like foods that you eat and why. Now, there are always different ends of like extremes. So there could be like, I only eat food that is, you know, minimally processed, like no processed foods, only whole foods, and I only drink water. And, you know, like there's the other end of the spectrum where it's like, I have never had a whole food in my life. I only eat food that is pre-made in a package or through a drive-through. And wherever you're at on that scale, honor that. You don't have to make any big change right away and be like, oh, I don't like what I see there. That doesn't matter. What matters is that you look at what is happening. And then when you're presented with an opportunity to make a choice, maybe you choose an action that reflects a healthy relationship between food and your body. So, for instance, I like the approach of adding in instead of taking away. So I don't want to encourage taking things out of your food, because like, especially if you enjoy them, even if the process doesn't matter, it's like you can't have everything. And if you're going to take everything that brings you joy in terms of food away, you're probably going to hate me for it. So enjoy your food, just add in more things until it becomes balanced. And that's pretty much the easiest way to go about improving your relationship with food, because behind that, I'm going to add this into my food to balance my plate, is an act of self-love. You're doing it because you love your body and you want to give your body good quality materials to work with, because it's kind of like there is an ongoing construction site happening inside of your body all the time, where you are always under construction. You're always creating things. There's so many processes going on inside of your body 100% of the time, that if you refuse, or sorry, if you just like choose not to give it, you know, like proteins, fats, carbohydrates, and green things, fruits, vegetables, you know, things that have vitamins and minerals in them, you're not giving your body much to work with, right? It's like when you drive down the street and they've just like added a bunch of patchwork to the road, and it's like, wow, you guys really didn't choose good materials for this. You're gonna have to redo this again like in 3 months. Great, good job, guys. Like, you know, so give yourself good quality materials for your body to work with. And when you eat food, it might look like, I'm hungry, so I'm gonna eat. Yeah, listen to your body. It might be, I'm feeling like I'm getting kind of full, maybe I should stop eating now. Even if you really enjoy the food you're eating, maybe you can save it for later, or maybe you can just remember how much you enjoyed it and have that meal again another time. We can shift out of the mindset of, I really like this, I have to eat it until it's gone because I might not get it again. Shifting out of that mindset and into one of more abundance of like, there is more of this where this came from. I can have this again whenever I want it. I love myself. My body is telling me it's getting full. I'm gonna stop eating now and I will come back to this when I have more room. That's an act of self-love. It's listening to your body, honoring what your body has to say, and keeping moving forward. It's really not complicated. So for exercise, we're looking at meaningful activity for at least 20 minutes, most days of the week. Ideally every day, But if that's not possible, then it's not possible, and that's okay. Try to have like 3 to 4 days a week where you are meaningfully and purposefully moving your body in a way that feels good. It doesn't have to be strength training. It doesn't have to be yoga. It doesn't have to be running. It can be whatever you want. Maybe it's rock climbing. Maybe you're hiking through the woods. Maybe you're just playing outside of the park. For like a good 12 months, that was the only activity that I could actually enjoy doing and like get even just like a little bit hyped up for it. Everything else was just, I was so mentally exhausted that anything that required energy was like, no. So what I did to get around that was I just started using playing outside with my kids for 20 minutes as my check mark for that. My habit was just outside for 20 minutes. But it can really be anything that you want. And I mean, if 20 minutes is like too much, then drop it to 5 minutes. If 5 minutes is too much, drop it to 1 minute. But if you're going to drop it down low like that, then increase the frequency. Drop it low often. So like if you're going to do 1 minute of meaningful activity for your day, do it every day, 7 days, ideally. But if you're going to do like 20, 40 minutes of exercise, then like 3 to 4 days is great. That's consistent. That's going to give your body enough action to start making results for you by the time that more weeks go by. You're going to start feeling better. You're going to start having more energy. You're going to start looking at food a little differently. You're going to start looking at water thinking, yeah, I'm going to drink that. I'm going to drink all of that. You know? So choose something that you enjoy a lot, and do that often, or as often as you can. Connection. So in connection, this is really your relationship with yourself and others. As a yoga teacher, this is like a really big thing. A really big focus in my life is how I hold a relationship with myself firstly, and then my relationships with others. And everybody has their own version of this. That's what makes us individuals. That's part of the experience of living life. In this connection, we look at things like quality time. Are we spending quality time, or are our devices getting in the way of making meaningful connections? It's also things like, are you honoring your body? Can you hear your body? Like, can you receive the messages that your body is sending to you? Is there a disconnect there? There is a way to reconnect that. Pay attention. So it's just about taking small steps. So for my connection exercise right now, or my connection habit, I am working on just practicing listening for 1 minute a day. And I've been practicing this with my daughter, Emmalyn, and it's been going really, really good. I hadn't noticed that she was closing herself off to me until I started practicing listening and seeing her open back up. And like, I want to cry right now because it's kind of emotional to, acknowledge the fact that my behavior is making her shut herself off to me. But by putting my awareness to that and seeing like, okay, that doesn't serve me, and I want to fix this before it's too late, because she is my child and she needs to know. Just one moment. All right. So I am back. So we're just going to bring that habit tracker back up and finish this. Okay, so in the connection, practicing, I am practicing right now with Emmy to listen for 1 minute. And not just Emmy, like she is my clearest reflection most of the time. So I'm with her most of the time. I'm still with Marley too, but she's still learning how to talk. So like, yeah, I'm listening to her, but it's not the same as like actively listening. And even like just friends of mine and, you know, family members, I had a really poor habit of like, I'm kind of distracted often. So I'm practicing listening, and it's not easy to reprogram, but I can see it progressing, so that's nice. So you just want to choose one action or one habit, a subconscious action for each category. You can choose just one if you want, just one category, and just focus on one thing. But if you would like to choose one thing from each category, you can. The idea is that you choose something that is so simple and so small that it would be stupid not to do it. A 5-year-old could do it. You know, like you just have to choose something that is so small. Like, for instance, for listening, I choose 1 minute because I have a hard time to focus. I am distracted. Like a butterfly goes by, I'm like, oh, look at the butterfly. And the person that's talking to me goes, you don't even fucking hear me. Excuse my language. So like 1 minute, I'm starting with 1 minute because that is small enough that I can do it. Even on days where I'm stressed out, even on days where I feel like kind of sick, or even on days where I am like not just the stressed out days, but also like the very excited days, like things where there's a lot of things happening, we're moving, we're making progress, a lot's going on. I still want to be able to listen, right? So choosing things that are small enough. So at the end of the week, so you see in the little bubbles here, I don't know if you can see my mouse or not, but I'm kind of circling around the first row of bubbles in the first category. So there's 7 bubbles. So that's 1 for each day. And then there's 4 weeks. So at the end of the first week, you reflect on it. You can find the reflection worksheet in the file tab. And I'm going to do a video call for that as well so that you can see it. Hopefully by Friday, I can figure out how to live stream through Zoom, through Facebook. So we'll see. Wish me luck. If anybody has any information on how to do that, let me know, because I'm a practice, but I clearly need a little bit more skill in this. But that's all right. That's all right. So you choose your habits for each one. You track them. At the end of each day, you just reflect on it. Did I do the thing? Yes or no? If you did, check it off. If you didn't, skip it. It's fine. You don't have to have 7 out of 7 every week. If you get 1 out of 7 days for your habit in that category, that is 100%. You've improved 100%, because before you were not aware. You were not bringing your awareness to that. You were not consciously making change in that area, and now you are. So if you do it 1 time, that is still 100%. You did it. That's amazing. That's the goal, is seeing what you can do, reflecting. I did that. It's building courage. It's everyday courage, where even though it might seem like a very, very large mountain to climb, when you take baby steps, it becomes much, much easier to manage. You must remember that when you take baby steps, it feels like it takes forever to get there. But as long as you keep going, you will get there. It's not always easy, but it is simple. You just keep going. Just